Okay, now there we go.
Yeah, we're back. This is the League of the Wings podcast, week 6. Crazy night last night. First Tuesday night game since like the 1700s. Something like that.
Yeah.
Only the second one ever. That's pretty cool.
And it was kind of a blowout, but
Yeah, that was surprising.
I wasn't expecting that because of the Bills' defense and everything. I thought they would stop the Titans somewhat, but
Yeah, that's the end of Allen's MVP campaign.
yeah.
I feel like
It's
that was nasty.
It's crazy to think that like a career or an MVP chances is like snapped that quickly just by one game.
That was bad. Who had him? It was Sophia, right? And how many points did he get? Oh, this is something I mentioned. We probably shouldn't say points because points aren't universal in fantasy, so we should just say the stat lines.
Oh, okay. Wait, what
I feel
other
like that would make sense.
what other things are there in fantasy other than points, or is it?
What do you mean? Like the point system isn't universal. Like we have it differently than other people.
Oh,
would.
okay.
So saying points is kind of irrelevant.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But if we just say the stat lines, that's universal.
So do you want to go over yours first?
Here we go. I finally got to it. Yeah, sure. I won again against my division rival Trey, the Dieback Nation. He is now 1-4. I'm now 3-2. I started out 0-2, 3-win streak now. Don't call it a comeback. I'm very happy about this. But I can see that there still needs to be some improvements on my side. My wide receivers are still very shaky. I think I have the best tight end duo and the best running back core, group, especially when McCaffrey comes back. But wide receivers are really struggling. Like Lockett, he's so inconsistent. He got sub 10 points again, which was bad. His stat line this week was 5 targets for 4 catches, 44 yards. But last week it was also only 2 catches for 39 yards. And yeah, having both of those bad games after like a massive performance with 3 touchdowns and 100 yards was just very weird. And I don't like how inconsistent he's being. But
Well, I mean, I think Metcalf is getting used a lot more than previously, so that could be it too.
Yeah, that sucks. Stephon Diggs came through though. That was a good trade to get because if I didn't have Stephon Diggs, my wide receivers would be so bad. And I still haven't put in Robbie Anderson, and I've just been waiting to see if he's consistent, and it seems like he is. Despite having only gotten 1 touchdown, and that was week 1, he still managed to have 2 more 100-yard games, and he just got a lot of catches. So I need to put him in, dude.
It's crazy if you don't necessarily need a touchdown to get a crap ton of points.
Nope.
It's just if you get a shit ton of yards and receptions, and then you can have a really good game.
We're a point per catch league, which is like the ESPN suggested version, which a lot of leagues other than ESPN's don't have.
Yeah.
So that's why wide receivers are able to rack up points like that. I mean running backs too, as long as they are used in the receiving game rather than blocking.
I think DraftKings and FanDuel usually just do half a point for a reception,
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe we should change to that, but I won't. I'm not gonna change it mid-season.
Yeah, I kind of like the 1 point thing because it can make or break the thing.
Right. I feel like it's just better for tight ends as well. So yeah, Kittle didn't do that great this week, but that's mainly just because quarterbacks are so messy over there. I'm sure he'll get better, but yeah, that was a terrible performance from San Francisco. Kyler Murray did good against the Jets as expected. Like, if you see the Jets are playing against your player, just put him in.
Yeah.
At this point, even if you're a kicker, if you're a defense, every position is just going to rack up points against the Jets right now.
Gents are going 0-16, and I'm going to lose that bet next year.
Oh, yeah, I placed a bet with Caleb about the 0-16 thing. And they just released Le'Veon Bell, so there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of people on my bench I could have put in, but regardless, I ended up with 143 points, which is 20 or more points more than Trey. Trey's struggling.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't understand why he's not putting in Mahomes.
Right. At
Jackson.
this point. Jackson's on a downtrend. He's been putting a lot of faith in Lamar Jackson, even since I traded him Mahomes, and he still hasn't put in Mahomes yet.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's doing good. Todd Gurley's on the uptrend, which is like makes me sad that I traded him. But at the same time, I got a good amount from that trade anyways, even if I did trade Todd Gurley. Hopkins is always consistent, probably offensive player of the year in my opinion. There's Alvin Kamara maybe as well, but
I think the only reason why Juju didn't do well is because of the
Claypool.
Yeah, Claypool, 100%.
Claypool. But Schuster will get it back.
Yeah,
we'll see about that. He has terrible defenses. Saints have not been that great, and Broncos is never great. So
even with his bench, he still wouldn't have won because both of his star points came from quarterbacks, and you can't have two quarterbacks.
Yeah. And he just had a bunch of buys because he has a bunch of Denver players.
Yeah.
Which is something I'll struggle maybe with the Colts. I don't think it would be that much of a loss because I don't think T.Y. Hilton or Jonathan Taylor are going to be that huge of a loss for me. But
yeah,
maybe the defense and my kicker. We'll see.
Do you want to head over to?
Yeah, we'll head over to yours.
Yeah.
I'm 3-2 now. That's all we need to say.
I'm 4-1, baby. This was the closest one, or the most closest one yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting nervous because it came down to Smith against Allen. I think I had a 16-point lead, maybe.
Yeah.
I forget the exact points, but I was just so nervous that Allen was going off because his MVP performance, or past few games, he's been averaging a crap ton of points, and he's just been doing really well. He was in for the MVP.
His drop off was insane. He was averaging 29 points. I mean, he had 2 games with 4 passing touchdowns. He's had a rushing touchdown in 3 of the 5 games.
And he's rarely throwing interceptions, but yet he threw 2 last night, which helped me a lot. He could have
against the Rams. He intercepted and fumbled, but still managed to get a lot of touchdowns to make up for it.
Yeah.
But then he wasn't able to do that here. He only got the 2 passing touchdowns.
Right. We were talking about Josh Allen.
Yeah, he threw for 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's it. He just did not good.
Yeah, but this was a close call because every player did really well for Sophia except for the 49ers defense and Harrison Butker. The 49ers defense just got scored on by Miami. Miami scored 40+ points. So her defense went into the negatives, and they just left.
That killed her because all her other players actually didn't do bad. Butker was 6, kickers was 6, so that's no big deal.
Yeah.
That's really no big deal. Yeah, everyone else did all right.
They
projected at
least. But
it was just Josh Allen in defense.
Yeah, and then my team went off.
Yeah, your team went off.
I had I started Russell, Sanders, Jacobs, Cooper, Metcalf, Smith, Connor, Bucks defense, and Lutz. Lutz had a crazy game. He got me way over what's projected. They were just using him with field goals and stuff. I think he had a 50-yarder.
Yeah, he had a 50+, a 40 to 49, and then a 1 to 39.
And then 3 extra points.
Yeah, 3 extra points.
And Metcalf.
How did Metcalf get 27?
He had 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
6 catches. But he had 11 targets. Wow.
That's
Minnesota
crazy.
defense did better than I thought they would, but then Wilson just killed them in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Their defense got worn out.
And then Sanders just went off 2 touchdowns, and then one was 75 yards. That was crazy. But I should have started Ridley. Ridley's been my guy throughout the entire season. I have no clue why I didn't start him over Cooper because Cooper only had 2 catches for 20 yards.
Yeah.
So Cooper just flopped. But I should have looked at the matchups. And 1, I think Jones was out. 2, Ridley was going to get more targets because he definitely needed to step up from the last game. He had 0 points, and he definitely wasn't going to have another one of those games. So I didn't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But his stat line was crazy. He had 8 catches for 136 yards, which with no touchdowns, but still that's still a lot of fantasy points. But if I just swap that, then it would have been like a sweep. Like it would have even been close.
Yeah, and then once you get Michael Thomas back, you'll be definitely rolling as far as wide receivers are concerned.
Yeah, I think he's listed
Having Thomas, Ridley, and Metcalf in is just gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, and then like Cooper is too inconsistent because he can have 4 or like a low game 4 points he had for me. But then he can go off like he did 2 games ago where he just went off, and yeah.
Yeah, Sophia's still scary. She's standing at 3-2 now, 2 straight losses, which is good for me because she's in my division. But I mean, just looking at her roster, she'll still.
Yeah, she's still scary to play against.
She's still gonna be scary to play against.
Like it was close, and I was scared. It was close every way.
And then the biggest blowout was Compton Crip Trip over Half Lesbian Thespians. Problem with Half Lesbian Thespians is that she forgot to change the people out for the bye. She only ended up with 37 points. Forgot to change out people with bye. Julio Jones and Nick Chubb are both out for their games. Nick Chubb for a while now. So she had them in. Bill's defense ended up going in the negatives against Tennessee. And Dak Prescott got hurt.
I just feel so bad for her because like her entire team's riddled with injuries.
So how many players actually? Okay, 3 players overall that were healthy all the way through and were playing, and the most any of those 3 got were 13. Tyler Higbee, the tight end, ended up with 3. So Kenyon Drake was the guy who got 13. His stat line's looking 4.4. Wait, only 3.7. Oh, 3.3 average rushing, which is not as good as his previous games, which is weird because it's against the Jets. But I don't know. He still got a touchdown though.
Brendan, aside from the blowout, he is looking scary too. I mean, like it was more of a blowout, like what Titus was saying about just half lesbian thespians, like depth chart. Crip Trip, his team is looking scary because like the Ravens defense got 25 points. Drew Brees actually started to do good. Kamara did good. Robinson did below average, but like his team is solid, and when his team is going off, they're going off, and he's like unbeatable.
His only problem is quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Also on Lisia's side, everyone was hyping up Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He got shut down, but it wasn't even Vegas' fault. He only got 10 carries against Vegas for some reason. I guess they're really just depending on Mahomes to beat the Raiders, but they didn't give the run game to Helaire at all. He only ended up with 10 carries for 40 yards. And like averaging 4 per carry is pretty good. Like that'll get you the first down consistently, and yet they still didn't use him. He actually did catch 3 for 40 yards as well. But he just wasn't using enough snaps for some reason. I don't know what the Chiefs were doing there. They'll adjust.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brendan does look scary when his quarterbacks aren't doing shit.
Yeah.
I guess it's just matchup dependent as well, like everything. But like his roster is like top, because Alvin Kamara is probably an offensive player of the year candidate. Mike Evans is always going to be consistent. Odell Beckham is doing better. He didn't do that great against Colts, but
if Breeze can get you 15, or if Breeze can get him 15 plus points per game, then that's like a win, because Breeze as a fantasy perspective is not that good, because he's like on the downtrend and he's not getting as many yards as he used to, and he's relying on Alvin Kamara to run the ball mainly. So, like, he's just not going to get many points in general.
Yeah. Okay. That's that.
Should we go over the game predictions from?
Yeah, so that was bad. just bad.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't update this. Whoops. So I ended up going 6-8, my worst week by far. Caleb went 9-5, which is like okay.
Yeah, not that great, but like not terrible by all means.
Yeah, so now he's 3 game predictions ahead of me overall in the standings. Uh, Buccaneers lost to Chicago. We both lost that. But that was just a funny Tom Brady performance because he just wasn't doing well.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was just like a lot of upsets that seemed like clear wins. I mean, like the Chiefs game, for example, the San Francisco game, for example, and the Buffalo game, for example. It's just that, like, what seemed like clinch, like, all right, they're definitely going to win. It's just they didn't win like we expected them to.
And then on Sunday, you had Houston versus Jacksonville. Houston finally got their win and in the division, so that was good for them. They are now tied with Jacksonville at 1-4. I didn't exactly see how Deshaun Watson did that game particularly, but I think that they're all better off with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
Baltimore destroyed Cincinnati 27-3. Jackson didn't do great passing wise, but still they ended up with 27 points.
I think it's the defense
mainly popped off there. Burrow got hit a lot. Poor rookie. But he's in a division with a lot of hard hitters. The Steelers defense, Baltimore defense, and then Browns with Myles Garrett.
That's crazy.
I think that's just sad. 6 games where he has to play against those defenses every season. That's just rough for a young guy. And
then the Panthers and Atlanta.
Yeah, Panthers ended up winning, which is just Atlanta 0-5 fired their coach as expected. I thought Atlanta would win just because I was holding on to hope. I don't know if I can do that to myself anymore, but you correctly guessed Carolina, and not really an upset at this point, but still, on paper, Atlanta should be doing better than they are.
Yeah, they should be at least like have 2 wins, 2 and 3 at the minimum, but they just blown leads, just not staying consistent, and it's a shame because I really like the Falcons. I always love
and
them.
Matt Ryan's been doing terrible. He had great first 2 games, and then I think he just lost confidence or something. I don't know.
Yeah, which is bad because Joe Burrow and Matt Ryan for me had downtrends, but Wilson has a bye week this week. Well, we'll get into it more, but yeah.
Oh yeah, those are your quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Chiefs lost against Raiders in that divisional matchup, which is crazy. Derek Carr ended up with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and then Mahomes I don't really know how well he did necessarily.
I think he got 29 points.
In fantasy?
Yeah, but I don't know what the stat line is for that. And then Deshaun Watson did really good too.
He ended up he had 1 interception, a running touchdown, 2 touchdown passes. He didn't do terrible except for his throw percentage. He still, I guess, offense ended up with a lot more possession time because with a 50% attempt rate, passing percentage, and still managing to get over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's almost crazy. The Raiders offense must have just ran through that fucking defense if that's how it happened.
Josh Jacobs had 2 touchdowns. I forgot how many yards he had, but he had a really good game too. So the Arizona versus the Jets.
Arizona beat the Jets obviously. Jets only managed to get 10 points. It still was not that great of a showcase from Kyler Murray or anything like that. He had obviously he was going to do good against the Jets, but I didn't think he did amazing. Pittsburgh beat Philadelphia.
We can skip this one if you want.
Nice. Well, you correctly guessed it.
Well, yeah, okay.
You should be happy.
Well, I mean, I thought the juju from when I projected the 49ers to win would work in my favor this game, but it didn't. But Pitt just not really steamrolled. It was just the defense didn't show up, and we almost won. But both teams were neck and neck. Couple plays, Eagles could have won, but then the Pitt just made a couple more plays and finished the game. Eagles are now 1-3-1, but still tied for second place. I forget, but yeah, it was just pathetic.
Claypool had a record-breaking performance. One of their receivers, only 2% of fantasy players actually own that guy, which is I don't even know if anyone even started him, but only 2% owned him. Yeah. And he just had the biggest game ever, basically.
Yeah.
Rams ended up beating Washington solidly, as expected. 49ers, just quarterback issues, I guess. And defense just sucked as well. Like, against Miami offense isn't that productive.
I think it's just injuries mostly because their defense was like one of the best
fair.
last year. But I think that's where to blame, I feel.
I guess so. Dallas ended up being Giants. You
That
were
was
nearly right about that upset, though.
That was super close.
Giants nearly got their first win, but Daniel Jones is not doing great. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. He's in the same list as Darnold and Rivers in that category.
Wait, throwing more interceptions than touchdowns. Once too.
Once too, right. Then Colts lost to Browns. It was bad performance from quarterback and honestly not much else. If they ran the ball more, I would have been more confident, but they just kept giving it to Rivers for some reason. And it seems like every time Rivers has a bad performance, Frank Reich recognizes, oh, we should have ran the ball more. It's just like if you just have that consistent thought process going forward, then we'll never see Rivers having that bad of a performance. But I don't know, it's stupid. And defense was just not good first half. They ended up getting it together second half, only allowing Mayfield to have like 30 yards total in the second half, something like that. But yeah, it just wasn't enough. Too little, too late. Seahawks closely beat the Vikings in a great last-minute comeback from Wilson once again.
That was such a crazy game. I was like on the edge of my seat, and it was just like maybe up for like game of the year game of the year possibly. It's still way early.
And it ended really oddly as well.
Yeah.
That little fumble or whatever.
Yeah.
People were like, was it a pass deflection? Was it, whatever.
Yeah, so close game. And then you got Saints versus the Chargers.
The Chargers is in the same like list as Falcons, where it's just unfortunate losses after unfortunate loss. Like Herbert's doing great. 4
touchdowns for Herbert.
He's doing great. Like he showed up against the freaking Drew Brees, definitely, and yet in overtime, New Orleans took it, and it was just really sad. Keenan Allen was out, so that could be partial blame. Just say it again. But I feel like Chargers still have a lot to like really be happy about. New Orleans is just a great organization in general. Like they have a lot going for them, even though they were at 2-2 at that point. So Chargers in a rebuilding sort of phase, finally getting rid of Rivers after so many years. There's still a lot to improve on and like work on, and to have that great of a performance from your rookie quarterback is really nice. And then finally last night, Tennessee just destroyed the undefeated Bills. Tennessee is now also still undefeated 4-0, and Buffalo falls to 4-1. But Buffalo's, given their division, I think they can still be like pretty confident going forward. But obviously a lot to fix.
I really wanted the Buffalo to win because I just like them as a team, and they just haven't won in recent years, and it's just like one of those teams where they just like constantly have been losing. I mean, like a couple of years ago, they've made it to the playoffs for the first time in like 20 years, so I'm glad that they're finding some success even though they lost.
Yeah. So Titans defense is scary. Derrick Henry's scary. I'm still not convinced Tannehill's that good, but his receivers are making it work for him. They've got a lot going for them.
Yeah.
And now they have a veteran kicker. That was their main problem last year, where their kicker wasn't doing well.
He started the year off rough.
Yeah, but he's made up for it with that game-winning kick against the Vikings. He had like 5 amazing field goals that game.
Yeah.
He made up for it immediately. Yeah, that's the end of that. I fall to points. The 62.3% correct game predictions, and you have 66.2%.
Yeah, which still both are really good. And then in the recent like couple weeks, 3-point like win over you is nothing. Because like I think you had 3 over me, and then I won 3 like the next game, and then I have 3 next. And then, it's up in there.
We'll see. I'm playing Brendan, aka Compton Crip Drip, next week. He still has yet to fix his buys, which that's fine. The week just ended last night, so I don't expect anyone to have this set up. Also, the same with roster changes, like getting people off waivers and stuff like that. That hasn't been updated yet. I know Licia has ended up doing some waiver claims.
Yeah, it's just since the like personally I haven't looked at it since last night.
Yeah, you still have, I think until tomorrow morning is when it updates or waiver claims go through. So Licia ended up, I believe she got rid of Dak Prescott and Saquon Barkley, like I told you, since they're out for the seasons. But we'll see.
But this is probably going to be the closest game, or at least the most exciting game out of this week. And I'm really.
I don't think so. Really? I think I'll destroy him.
Really? Are you that confident in your roster?
I'm 3-1 streak, baby.
All right. It's still dominate, completely
of course.
All
Listen, right. Colts. Who I have in from the Colts? I didn't put in. Oh, I am putting in Jonathan Taylor. It's Cincinnati defense. I believe it can happen. And then Colts defense against. I saw how Ravens did it against Cincinnati, and I think Colts can match that. I really do. Colts defense are great. Especially, I don't know if we're getting Darius Leonard back, but we are getting another linebacker back. So that's good. And we did fine even without Darius Leonard. Towards the end. We got our shit together in the end. But, that Browns offense is different than Cincinnati offense for sure. So I believe in the Colts. Blankenship is going to kick a lot. Just because I don't believe in our red zone performance anymore. I hope they give the ball to Jonathan Taylor more and make that correction from last week. And I expect him to at least have one rushing touchdown. I'll be happy with that. Mike Davis is still in for McCaffrey. I doubt McCaffrey, even though he's technically gone to 3 games on IR, I doubt he's coming back yet. Mike Davis has been doing great. And even though he's going up against Chicago, I think he'll be fine. Robbie Anderson has done really consistently as well. Also going up against Chicago. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and then I was just looking at Brendan's backups. He's going to replace Breeze with Brady because that's his only other quarterback.
Who's Brady playing now? Green Bay?
Yeah. That might be high scoring maybe.
I don't think so because Green Bay, even though they've let up a lot of points, well, have they? I don't know. Wait. They're undefeated. Their defense has managed to do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've held Falcons to 16 when Falcons were a pretty high scoring team at first. I don't know what happened to Matt Ryan, but
yeah.
I mean, it's not like Tom Brady has done amazing either. So I feel like they'll hold him to a pretty low scoring game.
Yeah, and then his running backs, he can either put in Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, or Raheem Mostert.
If he's back, is Raheem Mostert back?
He was back last game.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I see.
So he has a really good in-depth running game, which is needed. So
Aaron Jones against Buccaneers defense.
I wouldn't trust that. So he's probably Swift or Mostert.
I think Rodgers is gonna take most of the snaps, and there's not gonna be a lot of running game against Buccaneers, but we'll see. I'm still very confident. Your tight end did great against Buffalo, and now I'm putting in Kelsey against Buffalo, so I think he'll do good. Kittle is still a pretty consistent choice to put in, even after his last game. I'm not going to take him out. Kittle is just when he's good, he's so dominant. So.
It kind of sucks because his quarterback play isn't really good, but I feel like he still can score a crap ton even with bad quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think I'll take this win.
So it's half lesbian thespians versus me. So I have an update my roster, and it says that
you have 4 buys.
Yeah, I have 4 buys, but she is at an 81% win. But I also have Wilson, Jacobs, Metcalf, and Lutzen all have buys, so I need to update that.
And Michael Thomas also has a buy.
So I'm probably going. I don't know if I should put in Burrow. Probably not, because he's first the Colts, and the Colts defense is very solid.
Put respect on their name.
So I'll probably put Matt Ryan because he is playing Minnesota, and hopefully he can actually do something. And I'll probably put in Ridley as well. And I'm going to probably bump Connor up to the running back position and put in one of my receivers. And then replace Lutz with Crosby. And then so I just have some updating to do. But on Licia's side,
I mean, it's kind of hard to predict because it's going to undergo a lot of changes because she's doing a lot of waiver claims. So
Yeah.
I mean, if Cam Newton can actually come back from COVID, they're saying that he's more likely than not going to be playing against Denver. So yeah, Cam Newton could come back from COVID more likely than not.
Yeah, but everything's like up in the air with predictions because I still have to rearrange my team with the buys and stuff, and she still has to rearrange her team with waiver claims that she put and waiting on that. So it's kind of hard to predict, but I still feel really confident that I'm going to destroy her.
Okay.
But I'm 4-1 and she's 1-4. So.
And then Esposito Fries is now 3-2 as well as me, and Trey's down to 1-4. This will be huge for Trey. I think he could end up with the upset, but it's going to be hard. DeAndre Hopkins against Dallas, I'd be very confident with that. Todd Gurley against Minnesota, pretty confident with that. Patrick Mahomes against Buffalo, I think after his last performance, I think he'll come back and destroy them, especially prime time.
Especially how the Buffalo defense played last game too.
Exactly. I feel like his matchups are more than favorable this week, and he could see a huge, I don't know, boost. A win in his own division would be really nice for him. He hasn't gotten that yet. I've beat him twice now.
I'm still really mad that he beat me. I'm just so mad because I've beaten all good teams.
Saints defense is gonna have a bye, so he's left with Broncos defense. His only hope is that Cam Newton's not coming back. That's his only hope at this point because their other quarterbacks were really lacking without Cam. So if Cam's not coming back, Broncos defense might even have some hope. But that's And then on her side, Josh Allen obviously could have as good as a game as before. I don't think his performance against Titans is room for concern just yet.
I think he's gonna bounce back.
Yeah, surely. Ezekiel Elliott's going to probably pop off now that Dak Prescott's gone. They're probably going to give it to him more.
I wouldn't trust Johnson versus Tennessee because how Tennessee's defense performed.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it'll be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah.
But all her others are, I don't like her roster isn't that great other than Allen and Elliott in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're all right. 49ers defense when they're not injured would be a good pick. The only problem with hers right now is that Eckler is super injured. Fournette, she had put on the IR. Maybe he's going to be back though. Dalvin Cook and Godwin are questionable right now. So if those two, I think those are the main two that she really needs back right now, is Dalvin Cook and Chris Godwin to be able to come back, and then she can potentially blow out Trey.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, I would rather put in the Vikings defense against Atlanta than 49ers against the Rams.
Yeah, because of how the 49ers play against the Dolphins
and Rams are a much better offense.
Rams are just a powerhouse. They almost scored 40 against the Eagles. I think they're constantly scoring 30 plus points. I think their offense is just freaking crazy. They scored 35 or they scored 32 against the Bills, 30 against Washington, and 37 against the Eagles, but only scored 17 against the Giants, which is not good at all. But they still have a high-powered offense.
Yeah, I think Vikings defense is coming back from those terrible first 3 weeks. They held Texans to 23. Maybe that was just bad play calling for the Texans because they took out Bill O'Brien after that. And then they nearly had Seahawks, but Russell Wilson's MVP right now. So I feel like with a defeated sort of Falcons, they can have a great game.
Yeah.
And that's that. Yeah, that's that.
Do you want to predict the next week?
We should get into predictions now.
So there's no Thursday night games this week.
Sad.
I was really looking forward to it, but because of COVID, right? They rescheduled it.
They've moved around a lot of things. So Titans 4-0 versus Houston 1-4. Houston finally got their first win. Titans are high off of their primetime victory, staying undefeated.
I want the Texans to win, but I feel
I do too because my division depends on it for the Colts. And I'm going to say Houston does it.
I'm going to say the Titans just because of how dangerous they look, but I still don't want them to win because I do want the Colts to do good. So I'm going to root for, or not root, but like pick the Titans for this one, even though it irks my soul.
I think Houston is just going to undergo this sort of comeback phase where they start looking as good as they were last year a bit more again. They probably won't end up in the playoffs. They'll probably struggle and just barely not get the wild card or something because like Colts and Titans are too competitive right now. But I think they're going to bring it back now that Bill O'Brien's finally freaking gone and their players aren't so freaking annoyed by him.
Yeah.
Like, the players literally started a revolution to get him out, and now they're doing better. And Titans, I feel like, even though they had a massive victory against Bills, I feel like Houston will figure them out. I don't know. I just can't imagine Tennessee going 5-0, and I just hope they don't. So, but you go Tennessee, I go Houston. Colts versus Cincinnati, I say Colts. If they go .500, that's going to be a huge issue, and I'm going to blame Phillip Rivers, even though I like Phillip Rivers, but he's the only person left to blame at this point.
Yeah,
maybe coach, but
Bengals are totally going to win this. Now I'm shocking. Oh, I picked the Colts, too.
Yeah.
They're looking really strong. Their defense is something else.
I touched this again. Can you make sure this?
Yeah.
I didn't realize I needed a better wire for this. Minnesota versus Atlanta.
Yeah, this is a hard one, but I'm going to say the Vikings, even though I still have faith in the Falcons to pull their first win.
No, I don't have faith in Atlanta anymore.
Really?
Yeah, Minnesota.
I'm going to pick Minnesota as well.
I'll be cheering for Atlanta in baseball, but I cannot cheer for Atlanta in football anymore. It's just too much.
I really like the Falcons. I've always liked the Falcons.
I love the Falcons.
Yeah.
They're just their defense sucks, and Vikings offense is so good.
Yeah.
And Falcons offense has not been as great as beginning of the season, and now Minnesota defense is on the comeback. So just the trends are making it look like Minnesota over Atlanta. And you say Minnesota as well?
Yep. Broncos versus the Patriots. The Patriots. I picked the Patriots in this one just because they're looking like a stronger team. I have more faith in Bill Belichick to get through the win on this one. Broncos, I feel like they're still in a rebuilding phase. But
I go Broncos.
Really?
Yeah. I just think it'd be funny. I hate the Patriots.
All right, yeah.
That's literally it. I really want that upset.
Washington Giants. I'm going to pick the Giants for this one.
Really?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Well, they almost beat the Cowboys, but again, and then it's a divisional round game.
No, I think it's gonna be Washington.
Oh my God.
I think Giants are gonna go 0-6. I think Jets gonna go 0-6, and that whole fucking state of New York is just gonna cry.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Giants. Yeah. They're in the Eagles division. I feel bad for the Reds or the football team and the Giants, even though they're in the division.
Something's gotta give for the Giants, but
yeah.
with Saquon Barkley out.
Yeah. Ravens, Eagles. I would need to pick the Eagles. I don't believe it at all.
I'm gonna go Baltimore.
Yeah,
I don't really think I have to explain why. I don't think the Eagles are getting over their injury crisis yet. I think Wentz will still, struggle a little bit. He'll probably, just because the rest of his offense is not doing much other than Sanders.
Okay.
Them, sure.
Hear me out. Eagles always find ways to beat the good teams that they don't deserve to beat.
But it's not prime time.
True. But last year, they beat the Packers. The Packers were 3-0, and we were, doomed. Eagles always pull off that one, dumbass win that they have no business in winning, and they find a way to win. And I think this is going to be the dumbass win that they're going to win. Catapult them into a 12-3-1 record. Win the Super. No, I'm joking. But
that was wow. I think they're gonna lose and then be third in their division.
Yeah, but
because Washington, I think, is gonna win.
Yeah, but I just picked the Eagles because I picked against them the last 2 games, and.
In any other division, Eagles fans would throw in the towel, but
yeah.
This is a huge one. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Pittsburgh is undefeated. Cleveland is 4-1 on a, I think, 4-game win streak. I'm not sure. I don't know when they lost that one game.
Browns. He just put it. He just searched up the Browns with all caps, and I just thought it was funny.
Oh yeah, they are on a 4-game win streak. They lost against the Ravens. Oh, a similar blowout to the Ravens Cincinnati game. But anyways, they beat Bengals, which was closer than it should have been, and then they beat Washington, Cowboys, and Colts by multiple scores. So they've been looking better.
I'm willing to pick the Browns for this one. Their offense is actually playing like on paper like they should be. Cause, hold on, I think I have. Okay, I just had a little burp there.
That's fine.
But last year on paper, they had like the best offense with like Nick Chubb, Landry, Beckham. Their tight end on paper, they were like supposed to be really good, but then they ended up going 7-8-1. But their offense is actually looking like how they're supposed to on paper, scoring 30 plus points, except for the first game against the Ravens. But I just feel like they're going to win this one.
I feel like just with all the reasons they beat the Colts, those reasons don't exist with Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh doesn't have a quarterback problem. Sure, Ben Roethlisberger is no Mahomes or Wilson, but he's still consistent. He's getting it done. You know, whether he's finding Schuster or Claypool. Also, the freaking Eric Ebron had a fumble and a drop ball against the Eagles. That shouldn't have happened. That was just like, you know, a mistake that only happens like once a season.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not going to happen again, receiving wise, and Pittsburgh is going to be dominant offensively. And Pittsburgh defense is really good throughout the whole game. Maybe fourth quarter they struggle, but the thing is with the Colts, they struggled in the first half and then brought it together the second half. Whereas Pittsburgh will be good the first 3 quarters at minimum. And so I think I'm going to put Pittsburgh ahead of Browns for that reason.
Yeah. All right, Bears, Panthers. I want to pick Bears. Bears beat Tampa. I believe in Nick Foles. Big trust. Wait.
Yeah, they're 4-1 too. That's crazy. I think Carolina is doing way better. Bridgewater is actually showing up. Their defense is showing up. I know that this is a Chicago defense, so it's going to be scary for Carolina. But I think they're going to manage to somehow get it done. I'm going to Carolina. I'm kind of on the Carolina train right now because I actually really like Bridgewater. And
dang,
you know, it'd be huge. Just imagine they could actually win the AFC South.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
That would be
because
crazy.
Tampa Bay is 3-2, New Orleans is 3-2, Falcons is 0-4.
They're out.
5.
They're out of the question.
Yeah, they're out of the question at this point. Like Carolina could sneak in when no one was expecting and win the division, and I'm kind of cheering for it because I don't like Breeze and I hate Brady, and Atlanta's out of the question now, so might as well.
Yeah,
right?
I think
what I'm cheering for.
They're flying under the radar.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I just picked Bears because last game was their first like win against Tampa Bay against a good team, and they held their own, so they're looking really strong. Foles was looking like his Super Bowl MVP self a little bit, a couple of glimpses. He didn't play like that the entire game, but he had a couple moments, game-winning drive, I think, but just a couple of moments I saw flashes when he went through the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. So if he can get that started, then he's unstoppable. Right. And I just saw little glimpses of that, so I feel confident in the Bears winning this.
Also, Panthers coach Matt Rule is from Temple, and Robbie Anderson is also from Temple. So I'm also kind of cheering for that as well. That's cool. If the Panthers coach can turn, because that team last year was bad.
Yeah.
They were just not good. And if he can find a way to, against all odds, with everyone hyping up the Buccaneers Saints rivalry or matchup or whatever, somehow turn around and win the division, that'd be a huge storyline. So I really want to see that happening, especially in an NFC conference. Oof. Anyways, Jacksonville versus Detroit. I have more faith in Detroit. I feel like they're actually kind of under the radar right now, and they've had a bye week to, like, you know, recover from their devastating loss against the Saints when they could have had it. This is just kind of one of those moral victories that Detroit really needs if they want to stay in the wild card question.
Sorry.
Because I think they can come back from those 3 losses, but it's gonna be very rough. And then Jacksonville, I don't have faith in Jacksonville at all. It's Jacksonville, so
Yeah,
that's really all it comes down to.
I'm going to pick the Lions too because they've gotten off to really fast starts, but they just couldn't hold a lead. And I think they're actually a really good team. They got unlucky against the Bears with Swift dropping that pass. So like you said, they're like
something's gotta give.
Yeah. And they're already 1-3. Jaguars are dummy like bad, but yeah. I think it's the Lions.
So then you have Miami Jets.
Jets, 100%.
If Miami can destroy an organization that is actually well put together, even with considering the injuries, 49ers organization in general is well put together. If they can destroy them, then no question they're going to beat the Jets. This is not the victory Jets are going to get.
Yeah, Miami. I picked Miami as well for the same reasons as he said.
If Jets are going to get a victory, it's still not going to be against Miami.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it would end up being, but.
Packers, Buccaneers. I have the Pats in this one. Packers. Packers. I don't know why I said Pats.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second.
After the loss, like Chicago and Packers just looking dominant as always, going 4-0. I just don't see any way.
Yeah, I'd like to see Green Bay keep that momentum and going 5-0. I think that'd be really cool. So I'm going Green Bay as well.
And then Rams, 49ers. I pick Rams solely because of how the 49ers performed against the Dolphins, and the 49ers also lost to the Eagles. So I pick Rams. Rams are too high scoring, and the Niners defense just looks terrible with all the injuries. And the 49ers just don't have the offense to keep up with the Rams.
Yeah, I want to say 49ers or the Rams because I really want 49ers to end up like doing well, but I think 49ers are just going to have to take the L this season and rebuild to go on another Super Bowl run next season. Because, injuries have just plagued them. It's bad.
Yeah.
So I'll go Rams too, sadly.
I want the Niners to win, but I just don't have faith.
Yeah, right.
Chiefs, Bills. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. Bills played crappy, and Chiefs aren't going to lose 2 straight. They're going to come with a vengeance, I feel. Mahomes is just going to go off.
Chiefs is not going to lose 2 straight. No way. Bills, I couldn't see going losing 2 straight, especially against how they did against the Titans. Chiefs at least made it close against the Raiders.
Yeah. And then Cardinals, Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Cardinals on this one. Cowboys lost Dak Prescott, their entire offense, and I feel like that's the only reason why they're staying close in games. Their defense is just looking like crap. The only reason why Cowboys have 2 wins and made it close in the other 3 is because of Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
But his gruesome injury, hope he recovers fast.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas literally ended up with just a huge streak of losses from here on out.
Yeah, our NFC East is just a dumpster fire.
So I think it could just be Eagles solidly winning the division. It's possible.
Yeah, but
I think Eagles will set the record for least amount of wins to make the playoffs.
I agree. And then they're just going to get destroyed in the playoffs. I don't want to see the Eagles in the playoffs this year.
So Arizona, I think not that everything's gone right for Arizona, but I just can't imagine them losing to Dallas. So there you go.
Is that the end of this?
Yeah, that's it. That's that.
Love you guys. Bye.
No, you don't. You hate them.
Yeah.
You hate them.
Sorry. Bye. Sorry. Bye. Sorry. Bye. Sorry.